Hiya, Rambling Man Rick here. Today we're going to be talking about these little babies. These are reciprocating saws. Sorry, multi-tools. Thinking of something else there. If you haven't had one of these, and I must admit it took me a few years to buy one, I didn't realise just how useful they are. Now this one is a little 10.8 volt unit. It's pretty much standard. This one's work zone, sort of variable speed, not got a quick change blade, doesn't matter to me. Only got one little battery, doesn't really last a great deal of time when you're using it heavy duty, but if you're using it up a ladder, ideal. If you're doing really heavy duty stuff, something like this is an 18 volt, yeah, full pack. I'm going to take this off because I'm going to put a new blade in this. Now this is a Ryobi, again a variable speed control, and you can actually, one of the few where you can angle the head. Now when I went to buy this, they had one that looked like it had a big head on, right angle, standard sort of thing. And I worked out you could take the head off, turn it 90 degrees. Well, yeah, that's fine. This isn't it. That was the old style and was known as the job site, the multi-tool job site. They also, Ryobi sister company, AEG or Rigid in America, also do the job site, and they are quite a useful one in that you can change, basically take the head off, put a new head on, and it gives you a reciprocating saw or a basic jigsaw, an orbital sander I believe, and 90 degree angle drill. This doesn't. I mean, did I need one that did all that? No, because you then got to buy all the heads, so you got 90 quid for the unit, and then you got to buy all the heads, and I'm not sure Ryobi actually do them in this country anymore. So this was the one the guy brought out from the back of the shop and said this is what they sell now, and it does exactly what I need. These, the UK one, you just get the one sanding shoe. This one's got a quick release. I've got it tightened down quite well actually. That blade's a bit knackered. I was chomping out some wood with that. Hit a screw which is embedded in the wood, and that took the nail out. Took the teeth out. Yeah, put the new blade in. Actually, don't need to do that. Just job done. DeWalt. They also do 18 volt cordless. Well, most of them do. DeWalt quick release. They have a lever under here, but that's too close to the trigger, which just happens to be here. So it definitely needs to take the battery off. Only fault with these, if you can see that, but the line from there to there with the battery pack on these is pretty square. But if you were trying to undercut when flooring, so you'd be going in the baseboard or skirting board, whatever you want to call it, then this is what these get used for a lot of the building sites. The main problem being is that when you sit it flat on the floor, you're cutting in at an angle because the battery takes it higher than that, and that's very noticeable on the DeWalt with the slide-on pack. So what you actually have to do is you get your bit of flooring, and you have to make sure, I mean, if you've got a big tile and that, you want to get an offcut so that that blade sits on the offcut and keeps that off the floor, and then you get a nice cut. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make an adjustment to this because you can, on the Ryobis, I believe, actually remove this piece, take that off, flip it over, put it back on, and it gives you fittings for the other types of blades. I mean, this is a pretty standard common. It's got these slots out around there. Some have little holes. The one on here has small holes, so that won't fit on here. You've got Bosch use a Starlot, which is the same as on the Fines. They all pretty much do the same job. You've just got to know what you're looking for here. I think you can take this off. You see, I haven't done it, so I'm not going to. I want to leave it on there. But with the UK version of the Ryobi, you actually get a small adapter that adapts to the Dremels and other ones as well. So you not just get this piece, you get another adapter, and you can just basically put whatever you want in. Just making sure. I'll go around a little bit more. Setting these up. Yeah, that's right. If you don't get it right, then the blade can actually spin round. Usually got cross pieces on there, and they're all different. I worked on site, used DeWalt brushless. This isn't brushless. I mean, if they'd have offered a brushless one, even if it'd have been a few quid more, I'd have gone for that, because you get a lot more out of the battery. Do have a brushless Ryobi drill. Why Ryobi? Well, long story short, working in the middle of nowhere, somewhere, taking down a wall, needed access to a cordless grinder because some of it was below ground, and it was easier just to cut the mortar out and then lever it up. When I was told there was power, went to plug in. Power had been disconnected at the mains of the house and the consumer unit, so I had to go cordless. When looking around all the shops, second-hand shops, looking for just simple cordless grinder. The first one I came across, but the only one I came across, was a Ryobi. So I bought that, and I've added to it since. Had I bought Makita, I'd have been holding a Makita. If I'd have been first one I come across would have been DeWalt. I'd have been using DeWalt. Although, to be honest, DeWalt is just Black & Decker in a yellow casing, and they use the same thing. And to be honest, I'm glad I didn't buy a Makita, because having worked for a company that fits signs and stuff, as well as doing other bits and pieces, the amount of Makita drills that they seem to be getting through that fail after about 16 to 18 months usage is unbelievable. They had a big box in the office, and they were adding to them every month or two. Another one would go in there. I mean, there were only a couple of fitting crews out, so plus I used them around the factory, and they were just dying within 2 years, and that's not good. I mean, my Ryobi drill, I got the first one that came, that's 4 years old. I had a Ryobi before that, which had the slide-on packs, and I have no idea why they went from slide to push, and everybody else went from pushing to slide on. Slide on does make sense, but then you've got a few weaknesses, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, these are a pretty useful tool. It's a bit of a slow start up, but I've been using them to undercut for flooring, and also what you can do, I mean, I'm making a bench or a stool out of some old wood and bits and pieces. You can see it's pretty rough. It's got to be sanded down because it's old wood. It's got a few nails and screws sticking in it below the surface. These came from a trailer I did up. The flooring I put in didn't need any support, but what I'm making is basically a stool, and these are the legs, and I've been the one that way. But what I had the choice of doing was drilling or taking it out with chiselling. Take a while, it'll be probably about a couple of hours with a decent sharp chisel, and bearing in mind there's an embedded screw that I didn't know. I thought that was a nail, and I thought, yeah, my multi-tool will just go through that like a hot knife through butter and it didn't. It actually took all the teeth off. So I'm going to have to grind that off, I think. But yeah, I did that with the multi-tool. I actually did that with this little one. And I'm actually quite impressed. I mean, you get quite a smooth finish. Had I set the router up and routed this out, router spinning at God knows how many thousand RPM, hitting a screw or a nail coming through that way. Oh, I hate to think of what it would have done. You know, smashed the tooling up, bits of metal and wood flying everywhere. It's not worth thinking about. So unless you know it's virgin wood, always best to earn a safe option using a tool that's capable of actually doing the job. And multi-tools will go for everything. Dremel make one, by the way. They also make some decent heads as well. This is not a Dremel head on here. This is a Precise Fit. And Precise Fit are the parts people for, well, they actually make all the bits. They are part of Tektronix or TTL. And TTL just happen to make Ryobi, they happen to make Rigid AEG, and they just happen to make Milwaukee as well, for those of you who like your tools in different colours, especially red. And you see all the Milwaukees, well basically they're yeah, a lot of components are shared with Ryobi and AEG. Another thing is, if you go into site work and stuff and you're starting from a fresh, AEG have a 6-year warranty on all their stuff. Ryobi have a 3 once you registered it. Makita have a 1. Please note, you get a 1-year warranty for a tool that costs a hell of a lot more than anybody else's. If you're really seriously into woodwork, obviously you'll be looking at stuff that costs a load more, like your Festools. I mean, they've just launched a cordless multi, and theirs are actually quite good in that I haven't seen prices yet because I've just seen an ad from Anglia Tool Centre. Look it up on YouTube, but they actually do a plunge guide for theirs, and I'm sure they've actually made the whole thing so you can just slot it into this plunge guide and you can go up and you will always get a perfect 90-degree cut. Well, I can't actually see that being used by any builders. And yeah, I mean, these are such a useful tool. Like I've used this as a sander when I've been working in my workshop without any power. I've got a shed up the garden where I can make a lot of mess, but it's got no power and I'm not going to run a big lead up there just for the hell of it. So, sanding, I've used it for, say, cutting. I mean, once you've got one, you'll know how useful they are. You can use them for taking grout off. You can put a scraper attachment.
How did she get out?
And you can take tiles off. Well, that's it for the night. I'm off to do some more woodwork.